This entire week, we've been breaking down one idea. Modern games didn't lose their stories by accident, they lost them because the industry changed. AAA studios scaled up, pipelines ballooned, and somewhere along the way, narrative stopped being a priority and became a checkbox. Meanwhile, indie teams, with a fraction of the budget, started delivering the most meaningful stories in gaming. Today, we're pulling all of that together. This is the full breakdown of how AAA lost the plot and why indie games quietly picked it up. AAA development used to be about the craft. Now it's about management. When a game requires thousands of employees, multiple studios, and a production pipeline that looks like a Fortune 500 supply chain, narratives become the first thing that gets sacrificed. So, why? Because stories don't scale cleanly. You can't outsource emotional beats to 12 different studios. You can't committee review character arcs. You can't build a meaning narrative when every department has to justify its workload with content, not intention. That's how we ended up with massive open worlds full of nothing. Procedural filler, raging quests, NPCs who talk like they're reading from a corporate handbook. AAA studios didn't stop caring about the story. They just built systems that make good storytelling almost impossible. On Monday, we talked about procedural generation, not as a technology, but as a narrative problem. Procedural worlds are great for terrain. They're terrible for meaning. Starfield is the perfect example. 1,000 planets, and almost none of them matter. Because meaning doesn't come from scale, meaning comes from intention. When developers hand shape procedural output, it becomes a tool. When they don't, it becomes noise. And AAA studios are drowning in noise. On Tuesday, we broke down how AAA scale crushes narrative agility. When a studio gets too big, creativity slows down. Risk disappears, and everything becomes safe, predictable, and focus tested. Indie teams don't have that problem. They can pivot, they can experiment, they can build stories that feel personal because the people writing them actually touch every part of the game. AAA builds spectacle, indies build stories, and stories age better. Wednesday was all about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the perfect example of handcrafted narrative done right. KCD 2 doesn't rely on cosmic stakes or the chosen one tropes. It's grounded, it's human, it's messy. And because it's grounded, every narrative beat hits harder. Warhorse Studios didn't chase scale, they chased authenticity. They built a world where every character feels intentional, every quest feels handcrafted, and every consequence feels earned. KCD 2 proves something AAA doesn't want to admit. You don't need infinite content. You need meaningful content. On Thursday, we talked about indie side stories and why they consistently outperform Bethesda's world building. Bethesda has started building massive maps. Indies build meaningful moments. Raging quests can't compete with handcrafted writing. Procedural templates can't compete with human intention. And NPCs built by systems can't compete with characters built by writers who actually care. Indie devs don't have the budget for filler, so everything they make has to matter. So, here's the truth. Indie games don't steal narrative from AAA. AAA abandoned it. Indies filled the gap because they still operate at a human scale. They still write stories from a place of passion, not obligation. They still build worlds that feel alive because they're not trying to fill 200 hours of content. The future of storytelling isn't bigger, it's smaller, more focused, more intentional, more human. This week wasn't about being critical, it was about direction. Narrative isn't dying, it's evolving, and the studios leading that evolution aren't the ones with the biggest budgets. They're the ones with the clearest vision. AAA will always have spectacle, but indie games, they have heart. And right now, heart is winning. Thanks for being here for the week of narrative. Let's keep pushing for better stories together. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great day.